What if your dog has spent their whole life waiting for you to do just one thing, and you've been doing the complete opposite without ever realizing it? Most owners are convinced they're doing everything right, but there are needs your dog has that almost nobody ever discusses. And staying silent about them is quietly draining the connection you thought you already had. Keep watching, because by the time this is over, you'll look at your dog completely differently. Welcome back to Canine Mindset. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. We make videos that decode what your dog is really trying to communicate. And today's video might be the most important one yet. Here's what makes this so tough to accept. None of these things are complicated. None of them cost money. None of them take much time. But if you keep missing them, and the truth is most owners do without ever realizing it, your dog slowly stops believing you'll ever truly get them. And a dog who's given up on that belief won't show it through anger. They'll show it through withdrawal. A tail that wags with less enthusiasm. Eyes that stop searching for yours. By the time most people notice, entire years have slipped by. So here's the first thing your dog has been quietly hoping for. Number 1, give them somewhere that's truly, completely theirs. Has your dog ever squeezed under the bed, tucked themselves behind furniture, or pushed into a corner when the house got loud or chaotic, and you pulled them back out because you assumed something was wrong? Most people do exactly that. They see it as a problem needing a fix. But your dog wasn't calling out for help in that moment. They wanted one single thing, and instead you took it from them. Dogs descend from animals that relied on dens to survive. Not now and then, every single day. For a wild canine, a den wasn't optional comfort. It was the line between safety and vulnerability. That instinct never vanished just because your dog now sleeps on your sofa. It's still humming quietly in the background every time they feel overwhelmed. Research published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that dogs given a reliable, enclosed retreat space show lower cortisol readings, the hormone tied directly to ongoing stress, compared to dogs without one. That's not a matter of preference. That's a biological requirement your dog was born with, so take a look around your house. If there's no corner that belongs solely to your dog, no crate with soft bedding, no quiet nook they can retreat to without someone following them there, then every tense moment in your home becomes a storm they have to weather completely by themselves. When they hide, they're not overreacting. They're obeying an instinct that's screaming at them to find shelter. A crate with the door propped open. A dog bed placed in a peaceful corner. A blanket tucked under a table that carries their scent. That's really all it takes. And once a dog has a space that's genuinely, reliably their own, something changes. They stop vanishing into the background of your home. They start choosing to show up, because showing up requires feeling safe, and feeling safe requires somewhere to call home. And if that one surprised you, stick around, because what's coming next is the reason so many dogs develop anxiety, something their owners never trace back to anything they've done. Number 2, stop touching them when they haven't invited it. Be honest with yourself here. When your dog is stretched out on the floor and you walk by, does your hand automatically drop down to pet them? When they're sitting quietly next to you, do your fingers just naturally end up on their head? Of course they do. You love this animal. But here's what that moment feels like from their side. Researchers describe something in dogs called autonomy and personal space, and it matters to them far more than most people assume. Every time you touch your dog without them asking for it, you're contributing to something psychologists call learned helplessness. 1 or 2 instances won't hurt anything. But dozens of unrequested touches every single day, week after week, teach your dog that their body isn't really theirs to control. That whatever signals they send you don't actually matter. That you'll do as you please no matter what they're communicating. A study out of the University of Bristol's School of Veterinary Sciences discovered that dogs who had more say in their interactions with owners displayed noticeably fewer signs of anxiety and stress-related behaviors, and built stronger bonds than dogs whose owners controlled every interaction. What the science is telling us is something most people don't want to hear. More contact isn't necessarily better. Restraint is better. So what does it actually look like when your dog is the one initiating? It's their chin resting on your knee. It's their nose nudging under your palm. It's that slow, deliberate walk toward you that ends with their body leaning into your leg. Those moments are invitations, your dog actively choosing you. Everything else, every touch you initiate unprompted, is you making that choice on their behalf. The hard part isn't understanding this, it's actually practicing it. Keeping your hands to yourself as your dog walks past, letting them settle down without rushing over. It can feel like you're holding back love. But the second you stop reaching first and start waiting instead, something incredible happens. Your dog starts coming to you more, not because you trained them to, but because you've become someone they genuinely feel safe approaching. Keep watching, because what's next is something almost every single dog owner gets wrong, and it's quietly eroding trust you've spent years building. Number 3, get down on their level. When was the last time you sat on the floor with your dog? Not to clean up a mess, not to clip on their collar, not to check an injury, but just to be there with them with no agenda at all. Think for a second about what your dog experiences daily. To them, you're massive. From your dog's point of view, you're this towering figure who moves quickly and controls the food, the doors, the schedule, and their attention. Studies in canine cognition consistently show that dogs interpret posture and physical height as signals of dominance and potential threat, the same way their wild ancestors read cues from pack members and predators alike. Every time you loom over them, no matter how well-meaning you are, part of their nervous system is quietly assessing whether this is a safe moment. But when you lower yourself down to the floor, that entire calculation shifts. Studies on human-dog interaction have found that dogs approach people who are crouched or seated much faster, and with noticeably more relaxed body language. Then they approach someone standing, even if it's the same person they've known their entire lives. That posture says something no words ever could. I'm not a threat right now, I'm just here with you, try it today. Walk into whatever room your dog is resting in. Sit down on the floor a few feet away and simply do nothing. Don't call them over. Don't pat the ground. Don't make a sound, just be present in their space at their eye level and watch what unfolds. Most dogs shift almost instantly. Some get up and slowly wander over. Others just sink deeper into relaxation because for once they don't feel like they need to keep watching you. This matters enormously if you have a rescue dog, a nervous dog, or one who startles when people move too quickly. You could spend months trying to build their confidence with treats and training cues. Or you could sit on the floor for 10 minutes a day and let your body language say what language never could. Your dog has been waiting for you to step into their world. Most owners never think to try. Don't be one of them. And stay with me, because the next point is something virtually every dog owner does wrong on a daily basis, and it's one of the biggest hidden causes of reactive behavior that owners never link back to anything. Happening at home. Number 4, let them finish the sniff. How many times have you tugged your dog away from something they were smelling on the ground? How many times have you shortened the leash just as they leaned in to investigate a patch of grass, a fire hydrant, or a leaf another dog had walked past days earlier? If you're like most people, it's happened more times than you can count, and every single one of those interruptions cost your dog something real. A dog's nose holds roughly 300 million scent receptors. We have around 6 million. The portion of a dog's brain devoted to processing smell is proportionally about 40 times larger than ours. When your dog lowers their nose to the ground, they aren't wasting time, they're reading. An entire stream of information pours in through a single sniff. Who passed through here, what they ate, whether they were anxious or calm, whether it's a dog they already know. Cutting that off midway is like snatching a book away 2 pages from the ending, over and over, every single day. Research published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that dogs given extended time to sniff during walks had measurably lower stress hormone levels afterward than dogs who covered the same distance without pausing to explore scents. The takeaway wasn't subtle. Sniffing isn't just a pleasant pastime for dogs. It's a genuine tool they use to regulate their emotions. When you hurry your dog along on a walk, you're not just cutting the walk short, you're cutting off one of their main outlets for processing and recovering from the stress of living in a human-built world, a world full of noise, unpredictability, and sensations they never chose. The solution is simple: slow your pace. Choose a route where stopping is fine. Use a cue like go sniff and genuinely let them take the lead. 3 minutes lingering at one patch of grass might feel like nothing to you. For your dog, it's like finally being allowed to finish a conversation they've been trying to have their entire life. Stick around because what's coming next is something most owners believe they're already handling well, and almost none of them actually are. Number 5. Create a rhythm your dog can rely on. Does your dog wait by the door around the time you usually get home, even on days you're running late? Do they show up in the kitchen at mealtime more punctually than your phone's alarm clock? That's not just an endearing habit. That's your dog revealing exactly what they need most from you. And most owners mistake it for something they're providing, when in reality, they're often taking it away without even realizing it. Dogs don't experience time the way humans do, broken into minutes and hours and calendar dates. They experience it through patterns. Mealtime happens, then playtime follows, then there's a quiet stretch before the evening walk. Your dog has built their entire emotional world around these rhythms, and you sit at the very center of that structure. When the pattern holds steady, your dog feels secure. When it breaks, even in small ways, even temporarily, the ground shifts under them in a way they can't explain and can't predict the end of. A study in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that unpredictable daily routines were among the strongest contributors to chronic anxiety in dogs, often outweighing even a lack of early socialization or past trauma. And the disruptions researchers measured weren't dramatic events, feeding times shifting by an hour, play sessions vanishing for a few days, owners arriving home at wildly different times each evening. To us, that's simply life happening. To your dog, the one constant they could depend on has just become unreliable. The fix isn't turning into a robot. It's staying consistent in the moments that matter most to them. Feed them around the same time daily. Keep a play session they can look forward to. Even something as small as sitting in your usual chair each evening gives your dog a rhythm they can relax into. Here's what most owners completely overlook. They want a calmer, more affectionate, less reactive dog, but they never connect that desire to routine. A dog who has no idea what's coming next is a dog whose nervous system stays partially on alert. And a dog who's constantly a little on edge can't fully connect with you, even while sitting right beside you, even when you're doing everything else correctly. Routine is what lets your dog's guard come down, and a dog whose guard is down is finally free to love you completely. One more thing. And this final point might hit the hardest, because it's something you've had the opportunity to do every single day, and no one ever told you it actually mattered. Number 6, talk to them, really talk to them. Do you talk to your dog? Not commands, actual conversation, the kind you'd have with someone who shares your life. Most people admit they only do this when nobody's around, and then feel a little sheepish about it. They shouldn't, because it turns out that instinct you've been quietly following is one of the most meaningful things you can offer your dog. Here's something rarely mentioned in conversations about dog behavior. Dogs have shared our world for somewhere between 15,000 and 40,000 years, depending on which expert you ask. Over that stretch of time, they didn't simply learn to put up with us, they evolved to read us. Our expressions, our gestures, our moods, and above all, our voices. No other domesticated species has developed this ability to nearly the same extent. Not horses, not cats, nothing else on the planet. Your dog's brain has literally been shaped across countless generations, specifically to respond to human speech. A study published in Animal Cognition found that dogs process language using the same two-sided brain activity that humans rely on, picking up on both the meaning behind words and the emotional tone carried in them. They're not just hearing noise, they're actually parsing communication. And a separate study out of Eötvös-Loránd University in Hungary discovered that dogs respond differently when speech is directed straight at them, compared to when it's aimed at someone else. Even using the exact same words. They know when you're speaking to them specifically. Your dog has been listening this entire time. The real question is whether you've actually been speaking. You don't need eloquence. You don't need a script. Say good morning when you wake up. Talk through what you're cooking for dinner. Chat with them in the car on walks after a day that left you drained. Because every time you do, you're doing something far more powerful than simple communication. You're including them. You're treating them as what they truly are, not just an animal you manage, but a living being who has built their entire existence around you. And when a dog feels truly seen, not just fed, walked, and looked after, but genuinely acknowledged, something opens up inside them that no obedience class or expensive toy could ever unlock. Most owners spend years hoping their dog will offer them more closeness, more calm, more connection. But connection isn't something you sit around waiting for. It's something you build, one moment at a time, through patience, presence, and the willingness to finally speak the language your dog has understood since the day they were born. Your dog isn't asking you to be perfect. They're asking for you, the real you, the one who sits on the floor, the one who waits, the one who talks to them and slows down for them. They've been asking their whole lives. If this changed the way you look at your dog, share it with someone who loves their dog but has no idea about any of this yet. And subscribe to Canine Mindset, because every week, we go a little deeper into the world your dog lives in, so you can finally, truly meet them.